From Beth talking to Jon like he's her buddy,
You can't wear that dress at your wedding.
Don't worry, Dad. I won't be wearing it long.
Beth, I'm not your buddy. Okay, I'm your father, so can you factor that into our conversations going forward?
to Beth and Jon getting married,
I'm sorry, I didn't know he was married.
Now, here's a situation I couldn't have dreamed up in a month of Sundays.
these are the funniest moments and bloopers in Yellowstone that the cast is hiding from you. And for number 8, Jimmy meets his new boss. Have you ever met someone who seems a bit, well, let's say, light upstairs? That's Jimmy for you. He's as sweet as pie, but let's be honest, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Imagine having a big room in your head, but only 1 or 2 tiny marbles bouncing around in there. That's our dear Jimmy. But even in the cowboy world, our man stands out. And not because he's the next John Wayne. No, because he's the cowboy who can ride without taking a tumble. You'd think by now he'd learn to stick to the ground. But nope, he just keeps getting back up. Kinda inspiring if you ask me. Now, after one tumble too many, he's sent packing to the 4-6's ranch in Texas. A new beginning, right? But he carries his special charm right along with him. And his adventures at the new ranch? Pure gold. Imagine the scene. Jimmy's taking a snooze, probably dreaming of not falling off horses, and he wakes up to find himself surrounded by 3 big-time cowboys. And the legendary Buster Welch is right there. His boss leans in, trying to drop some wisdom on him. He says,
There's 3 gods in Texas. The Almighty Himself, Buster Welch, and George Strait. You just met one of them.
That's not George Strait.
I hope the good Lord gave you a big dick, Jimmy, because he sure shorted you on brains.
Number 7. Beth and Rip argue about Carter. Yellowstone Ranch is a place where I love you and F you are basically 2 sides of the same coin. And if you think that's bonkers, well, you won't believe this. Keep watching. Now, let's paint the scene. Beth and Rip are having one of their classic heart-to-hearts, and this time, it's about young Carter. Beth's got grand plans on taking him on a shopping spree, and Rip? He's not on board. He's all like, let's not pamper this kid, all right? He's gotta work hard. And here comes the zinger. Rip warns Beth, if you treat him like a pet, that's what you're going to get. And you'd think that's a call to duel at dawn, right? But Beth comes back with a bold F you. But right after dropping that bomb, she plants a sweet smooch on Rip and says, I love you. Talk about mixed signals. But just to make sure he gets it, she reminds him again, saying, but seriously, F you. And Rip's come back? A casual chuckle and an, all right, baby. Number 6. Jon runs for governor. The dashing Jamie is all suited up and feeling top-notch. He's about to announce his grand plans of running for governor. With the wind in his hair and cameras flashing, he's thinking, this is my moment. Especially when he spots Jon and Beth in the crowd. Ah, family support. Jamie must be thinking. But Jon isn't there to clap and cheer for Jamie. In a classic, not today son move, Jon decides to toss his own hat in the ring for governor. And poor Jamie's there, waiting for his name to be called, but instead, it's good old Dad's. And that face Jamie makes? It's like when you think you've won the lottery, but then realize you've read the ticket wrong. Then Jon, being the cool cowboy that he is, throws Jamie that signature, don't even try, kiddo, glance. Number 5. Beth and Rip get married. In Season 4, Episode 10, our fiery Beth decides it's high time she and Rip tie the knot. But don't expect your usual tear-jerking wedding scene. Nope, because it's Dutton style. A mix of crazy, heartwarming, and downright hilarious. You see, Beth, being the absolute sassy and badass that she is, decides to show up in, let's call it an alternative bridal attire. Not your classic flowy white dress, for sure. And Jon, he asks her, that's what you're wearing? The guests of honor are Jess Carter, Lloyd, and of course, a bunch of fresh Montana air. Now, instead of sweetly asking a priest to officiate, Beth goes all action and kinda, sorta, kidnaps the priest using a tiny pistol. Jon, clearly not prepared for this level of Bethness, goes, Jesus Christ! But a lot of fans didn't notice how excited Lloyd is for Rip, and that's a real homie right there. I bet Jon never imagined this kind of wedding day for his daughter. But come on, it's Beth. She's had her share of ups and downs, but in the end, it's just another unforgettable Dutton moment. So one fan said, that's how a wedding ceremony should be, honest and passionate. Number 4. Maya meets Emily. In Season 4, Jimmy saunters back to the Yellowstone Ranch after what feels like forever. But he didn't come back alone, because he's got Emily, his new fiancée, right by his side. Walking into the bunkhouse, he didn't expect the scene that was about to unfold. You see, his old buddies are just hanging out playing some cards. And guess who's there? Maya. You remember Maya, right? Jimmy's past mistake. She's right there at the table. And the shock on her face when she spots Emily, it's like someone stole her favorite cow. Instead of a friendly howdy or a simple nod, Maya goes full Wild West and lunges at Jimmy. I guess that's one way to say, welcome back. And Emily? She's not about to let anyone mess with her man, so the two ladies square off, turning the bunkhouse into a full-blown wrestling ring. The other ranchers are just munching popcorn and enjoying the show until they finally decide, all right, maybe we should break this up. Maya, brushing herself off, tries to play it cool, saying, always good to exercise after a long drive. Trying to make light of things, but deep down, we all kind of feel for her. It's rough seeing your ex walk in with someone new. Number 3, Jimmy learns about horse love. Jimmy, fresh off the boat at the 4-6's ranch, gets handed one of those tasks you don't quite see in the Welcome to Ranching handbook. He is handed this, sleeve thing. What for? Well, let's just say it's for helping a certain stallion in the romance department, if you catch my drift. All while Emily is standing there, probably thinking, is this what I signed up for? And then, Jimmy, after the deed, completely dazed, manages to say, I just jerked off a horse. And Emily is cracking up, but honestly, who wouldn't? But hey, don't be too quick to judge. This is a big ranch business. Breeding champion horses is how the cash flows. It's serious stuff. But watching Jimmy with that deer in the headlights look, realizing ranch life isn't all about riding into sunsets is pure TV gold. The guy's learning the ropes, and even if he's tripping over them sometimes, we love to see his journey from city slicker to cowboy extraordinaire. Number 2, Carter schools the bunkhouse. So, Rip and young Carter have been getting all chummy. Honestly, it's giving me major father-son bonding on a fishing trip vibes, minus the fishing, plus a whole lot of cowboy. See, one evening, after Rip sends off a quick bye-bye to Beth, who's off to handle some family business, and trust me, it's always juicy, he decides, hey, why not introduce Carter to the bunkhouse crew? And off they go. Now, you'd think a young buck like Carter would be all nervous and stuff, right? Wrong. Cut to a bit later, and there's this kid, looking all cool and confident, absolutely schooling the bunkhouse OGs, Teeter, Colby, and Ryan in a card game. And the zingers this kid drops? It's like a stand-up special in the making. Rip is just standing there, beaming like he won the lottery. But not everyone's a fan, especially Lloyd and Teeter, who's probably thinking, who let this pint-sized hustler in here? In her classic style, Teeter blurts out, he ain't no kid, he's just a mother-effing card shark and little elf. And yeah, we couldn't agree more. With everything Carter's been through this season, seeing him have this win, even if it's just in cards, is heartwarming. Number 1, Beth confronts Summer. The sun's shining in the kitchen of the grand old Dutton Ranch. Beth strolls in, expecting her usual morning routine when, wham! She spots a stranger making herself at home. It's Summer Higgins, the animal-loving, rights-fighting gal John Dutton seemed to befriend the previous night. And Beth? She goes full Wild West, reaching for a knife like she's about to serve up some justice, old-school style. The scene gets even nuttier. Summer, in all her innocence, thinks Beth is John's wife. So what does she do? She grabs a milk carton as her weapon of choice. But then, John, dropping one of the show's funniest lines,
Now, here's a situation I couldn't have dreamed up in a month of Sundays.
So they all try to be adults and sit down for some grub. Beth, of course, can't resist making fun of Summer's vegan choices. And as she exits, she tosses one of those classic Beth-style insults at Summer.
I hope you die of ass cancer.
And one fan said in the comment section, first time meeting Beth, she actually managed to get 5 words out before being chased with a knife. Did better than most people. Well, you're right, cowboy. But you know what's even better? We have a major update about the most awaited Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2. And I know you don't want to miss this, so click this video right here and see you on the ranch, cowboy. Stay hard.